Well, hello everyone. As they say, better late than never. Here we are finally with our first week cast of the second season of Formula G. I am Zotomo as always, and I am joined by the much anticipated return of Calamity. How are you?
Yeah, doing much better. Yeah, glad to be back. Probably going to be a bit rusty, so bear with me for like the first 2 or 3 videos. But definitely excited to get back into casting a couple of games.
Yeah, definitely. Great to have you back. I've been waiting for this, and we finally get to dive into it. It's been a long time. I don't know if I remember what happened in Argentina, so it'll be really like new for all of us as we go back through these things. So sit back and enjoy the ride as we take a look at 5 different competitors. That's how we do Formula G here, because it's not a one-to-one matchup. We're going to take on a round from each player that shows something interesting or a unique method or just speed in some cases for how they got their 5K. And so we'll showcase them. So yeah, send us your videos so you can be part of this. So don't think that, hey, there's a lot of people. We need a lot of videos. We're going to 5 people for each week. So hopefully we'll see some of those videos from you in the future weeks. But yeah, today, our 5 competitors, Calamity, who do we have?
Yep, we've got myself to start with. Then we've got Carp for round 2, which is someone who's new to Formula G. Obviously, by the time we're recording this, it's been a couple of weeks. He's already played some part of the season. But by the time, this was his first event and first map in Formula G. Then we've got Closed, Mr. Blue, and to finish it off, Max for round 5.
Right, some familiar faces as well as a few new ones for us here. So without much talking, let's just get right into this, and we'll get ourselves into round number 1 with your view, Calamity. And this is Argentina.
Yep, this
that's all you can say.
Certainly
Yeah.
Argentina. The good thing is, while Argentina is quite huge, the good thing about that is that it's also rather diverse, both north-south as well as west-east. So just judging by the way the landscape looks, you can already kind of tell you're pretty far south in the country. And all the way down there in the south, there's not exactly a whole lot of roads going on. So you should be relatively fine if you find, for example, some city names, because you don't really have that many places you need to check, or the name of the road, ideally.
Yeah, it's really nice. There's very few roads out there, and they're all pretty almost nicely east-west or north-south. There's not really strange kind of angular roads that you have to think about. Is this a northern-facing portion of this road that's normally going northwest? And as we say that, you've got those signs for you and the road number, which is even better, the 3.
Yep. Road number 3 and Rio Gallegos, which is a rather known city in Argentina. Probably one of the biggest ones down there in the south.
As well as San Julian, which you just passed.
Ah.
You say it's well known, but you're having a bit of trouble with it.
But Rio Gallegos is well known. The other two, who cares about those?
Yeah. No, but the road, we've got it. Now it's down to trying to figure out some sort of pinpointing. And this little sign could be helpful. That's a very big kilometer marker.
Yep. Less helpful in that regard. But I continued on because you don't have any kilometers on that sign. So even if I were to find the other two, it would allow me to, decrease my search radius a bit more, but I still wouldn't know where exactly we are. So I thought I'd rather search for something like this, which is a very significant curve in the road, which on that road, quite unusual. So I thought that might stand out. And look at that. There is a pretty significant curve there.
Well, it stands out. Now, I mean, this everybody has 5 minutes per round in Formula G. So no handicaps. That comes in the sprint race after this feature race. So with about 2.5 minutes to go, you've figured that out. Now it's time to go back and pinpoint. Hope that side road is actually on the map.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for earlier while I was scrolling through the map there in like very small increments like this. I'm looking for a road that goes off to the west, but there's just none here, which kind of left me a bit confused. But well, 2 more minutes.
Plenty of time. Yeah, you're looking at 2 lakes on the map as well, but those don't appear to be
Yep.
anywhere. So now
So
heading south to.
I wouldn't trust lakes in on the map in dry parts of countries like Argentina, Mongolia.
Yeah.
Just don't trust lakes on the map.
Yeah, they evaporate at different times of the year and just are just basins
Yeah.
at other times. So
There
it's also
must
like
be a
that with
road here.
rivers. Like the river is like huge on the map, but you're
Yeah.
looking at this bridge and you're like, no, this river is like, a pencil wide. And it's just because of the, floods and, seasonal
Yeah, though with
whatnot.
with
So,
rivers you can usually tell like how wide they are at their
yeah,
maximum.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, a bit more difficult if there is no lake at all that you can sort of look at and judge. Because usually like you have those lakes that are like 300-400 meters away from you on the map. So it's not like you can look next to you or below you and be like, okay, there might be a lake there. And oh, look at that. There's another
There we
significant curve, and
go.
there's actually a road here.
It goes east and west. It's got a number and everything. That looks a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm just back. I'm going back to check if the road direction of that curve actually matches up perfectly. Because now I wasn't sure. There's 2 significant curves in the road. They both look pretty similar. Got to make sure and check if it actually is the right one there. And yeah, that looks pretty good.
That direction looks like it will work out. And just in the nick of time, 10 seconds left. Not much more pinpoint. That road intersection is probably one of the best things you've got.
Yep.
And you can just pretty much let time run out here, and we'll see how it goes. And 5K, what do you know? Putting us at that intersection was quite nice of the organizer, Ben, for that one. But that gets you the first ace. Not a bad round to open things up with, Calamity.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I'm pretty sure that you would have had enough information either way, like going either direction, to get that right. But yeah, obviously the curve helps a lot. And I guess also you could have worked with the distances on the kilometer markers. I'm assuming that that was the distance to Buenos Aires. I'm not 100% sure, but sort of just 2,000 kilometers. I guess that sort of fits.
That would fit, yeah.
Because where else would they start from? Or it could be just, I mean, actually, it might make sense to start from the other side of Road 3. I'm not 100% sure. No, it does. Road 3 does start in Buenos Aires. Yeah, probably that then.
Yeah, so yeah, pretty standard Argentina round, very flat, but then, of course, somewhere along the way, you usually can find a road number or some cities, and the geography and whatnot giving us a pretty good clue for that first round. Okay, well, let's take a look at Carp, one of the new drivers. We've got quite a few of them in this season here in round number 2 for this one. And this is the other kind of Argentina, dry, dusty, small town.
Yeah, still dry and dusty, but now with houses.
Yep. So slightly different from round 1.
Yeah, though it also, it does have a bit of green here and there.
Yeah, so points a little bit further north in the country. Now, these small towns can be tricky because I, for one, can get turned around. Like you're going down a dirt road, you take a left, you take a right, and then, oh, where am I again?
Yeah.
It's all just low houses and dirt roads. There's no markers or anything to keep track of where you might be going.
Yeah, generally a good tip if you're in a smaller village, while Carp has found his way out of it. Good thing to do is just pick a direction. Like you've got north-south and you've got west-east. Just choose one out of each of those two, and every choice you have, go in that direction. Then eventually you'll either hit a dead end or get out of the town.
Yeah, and dead ends are unfortunately all too common.
Yep.
And so we've got, other than the geography, I don't think he's seen anything that would point him that far north, but he seems to be looking in that area.
I also think Carp told me that because technically in the rule set of Formula G, it is allowed to communicate with your partner during the feature race. So him and Laban Greb were doing this challenge together. So some of that reasoning behind him placing the pin so far north might be something his partner found.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a gray zone. It's not forbidden.
It's explicitly allowed in the rules. It's not even really a
Oh,
gray
did
zone.
he explicitly allow it? And like last season, it wasn't forbidden in the sense, but did he actually make it explicit in this season? I didn't notice that.
I think it was actually even allowed in the rules last season. It was just that no one did it. But
Yeah, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
it can work out for you for sure.
Interesting. I
And
can tell you that like I didn't work with my teammate on this round, and I found pretty much everything that he's found. So it's definitely around. Plenty of information is available. It just appears that he's been himself hasn't seen too much. But knowing that major road is right there to the north is going to be helpful.
yeah, for sure. The best thing about working together probably is just being able to check more ground. Of course,
yeah, you go this way, I go this way.
There's always the part of, okay, maybe you know a town that I don't know, but especially in rural locations like this, it pretty much all boils down to, oh, I've found this town sign over there, and you found this road sign over there, and there we go.
Yeah, putting 2 and 2 together. We're just under 2 minutes left. Figure out which exact road they're on. I always love these small towns. There's so many points of interest, but I can never figure out where they are.
Not in rural Argentina, there isn't. No.
Yeah.
And yeah, the problem also, like, especially very rural towns sometimes don't have any visible road names in Street View. No signs. Mostly, like, there's a lot of countries where this is the case, but South America especially suffers from that. So you have all those beautiful road names on the map, but yeah, there's just none here.
Yeah, and it comes down to just counting. Go to the edge of town, count your way back. Maybe you can find somewhere where you can identify exactly and then count from there rather than the edge of town.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much all there is.
Problem with this town specifically is that it's quite indistinguishable in terms of it looks the same everywhere pretty much. You've got the main highway going through it on the north eastern side, or not through it but past it, and anything in the town is pretty much just a grid. It's kind of like an American city in that sense.
Yeah. So even though it is a small little town, it is somewhat planned in the sense they just get a grid layout. So there's a dead end to the south. Appears to be towards at least one end of town. Not much more out there, but 17 seconds left. I'm going to try to just pick a street, working with his teammate. What did you see? What did I see? Well, this is probably the best we've got. Let's go with it. We're going to be pretty close. We're in the right village at least. And there will time go. And sure enough, a little bit closer than you there, we can see for your round 2. With that one, but an ace for Carp in that one. And you can see as well, Laban Grab just a little bit too far away, losing a single point.
Yeah,
there, his teammate.
I don't know how much they actually communicate during these rounds, because you would assume, like, you know, you'd get the same amount of points if you actually communicate everything. But maybe they're just telling each other what information they found, but not where exactly they're placing their pins or something like that.
Yeah. It looked maybe just like, okay, we're in this town, maybe this road, and then not, I put my pin here, where did you put your pin, kind of thing. But yeah, so you dropped 2 points there. Carp dropped 0 points with an ace. How did everybody else do in that round? I forgot about that in round 1.
Yeah, I forgot about it too. Let me go give you round 1 as well. Close dropped 75 points in round 1, and then 2 points as well in round 2. Same as me there. Mr. Blue got a perfect score in round 1 and then dropped 1 point in round 2. He was actually only 4 meters closer than closed, but just right around that edge of where you lose between 1 and 2 points. Carp got a perfect score in round 1. Max got a 2-point loss in round 2. He was actually 1 meter further away than Mr. Blue. So I can tell you exactly the cutoff between 1 point loss and 2 point losses was at like 120.5 meters for that round.
Exactly.
And was there something else? No, I think that was everyone. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, very nice for that. Well done to our newcomers. They're both newcomers, taking on one of the new teams here in Formula G as we shift over to our third round. And okay, in round 3 with closed. And we got some mountains for a change, which is a very distinct feature of Argentina, Calamity.
Yeah, a very distinct feature of Western Argentina, even. The pretty much the whole length of the Argentinian-Chilean border is mountains. So that alone, as well as the relatively dry landscape again, gives you a good indication of where you are landscape-wise. Although, to be fair, most of the western border of Argentina is relatively dry, even if you go up a bit.
Yep. Might be something on that truck. The spark closes interest, but nothing to bring up the map quite yet.
Yeah, usually
lots of signs, but not telling you where you are.
Yeah, usually these kind of complexes, I don't know what this is exactly. Could be like a mining site, could be like a farm of some kind. But those are usually annoyingly unhelpful in that they look like you'd have a lot of useful signs around here, or at least more than in the hundreds of kilometers of empty road in the other directions. But most of the time, there just aren't any helpful signs here.
Yeah, it's got a big plant or something, and you're like, there's no signs to which way to go to which town. Like, everybody just knows. Like, yeah, pretty much. You're like, thanks. Really appreciate it. Oh, there's the road, RN40.
Yep.
That's very nice. Those are helpful. Not one of the big ones, but the smaller roads.
I mean,
it's very, very long.
Yeah. 3,477 kilometers. I'd call that a big road.
Yeah. There you go. So you got to figure out somewhere. And like he's going to try to make his way into some kind of town, find some more clues.
Probably going to find some of them.
Yeah. Even in Argentina, entering towns give you at least a few signs.
Most of the time.
Hopefully some of them helpful.
Yep.
Yeah. Always the question. I saw lots of signs, but they were all worthless.
Yeah, but in this case, he's already gone like about a minute, 1.5 minutes just entering the town. So it's pretty safe to assume, and finds a blurred sign, of course, here. It's pretty safe to assume that there is going to be some useful signage here, and it's probably a relatively big city. And the sign that he saw there just told him it's the cemetery of Albadon, I think was the town name.
You picked up on that. Even if he didn't, this is a much better sign with... Ooh, what is that? Those are actually distances. What do you know?
Ooh.
They do put those on signs.
Sometimes.
And that's the actual town again. La Barodon, or whatever, is pretty close. Las Lomitas, Banos la Lajo, something.
Banos la Laja. Yep. And there's Albadon.
There we go. Now he's got to work his way backward. There's the cemetery.
Yep.
Probably took note of that.
Apparently a racing track as well up there.
Did see the there might have been that farm or whatever it was as a point of interest when Close zoomed in a little bit closer up the road.
Possibly.
He might have to work his way back there. Autodrome. Oh, that's the Autodrome. Never mind.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's still a Velocidad is speed,
yeah,
still got something to do with cars, but there was something there that looked like it might be a plan of some kind.
Yeah, a minute left to go. Now looking the other direction. What is to the north? I'll help him judge. Split the difference. Definitely a lot closer to the town, that's for sure. But hasn't gone back to the start. They don't have to, but it can be very helpful. It's a very nice, beautiful welcome sign as well.
Yeah, usually not going back to the start at this point means that the player is not yet sure that he's in the right place. He's kind of just looking for a reference point where he is right now, because he knows that if he goes back to the start, he won't have a reference point. He'll just need to know where, the start is, and he'll need to pinpoint with that.
Yeah, but thankfully that button on the left-hand side makes it only less than a second to go back to the start. So quite easy to do. Save that for the last second. He still hasn't moved his mouse, his pointer, which was, again, comes down to it, a bit disappointing, because he literally zoomed in on the right road and then said, didn't move my pin.
Yeah.
So that's probably what happened there for that one.
He realized at last second where the right location was, but just didn't have quite enough time.
Yeah, didn't have quite enough for that. So how did everybody else do in this third round, Calamity?
Round 3 was an annoying one for me. I found the cemetery as well, and I stopped there and looked for Albadon, because I assumed, well, the cemetery of Albadon, that must be quite a decent sized city. And at that point, I had no other information other than we're on the 40. And so I just checked the 40 up and down twice, and I never saw Albadon. So I dropped about 3,500 points there. And a pretty similar thing, I assume, must have happened to Max, because he got just about 80 points more than I did. Mr. Blue and Carp, another pair, very close together. 3,100 points for both of them. They were actually in opposite. No, wait, were they? No, they were in pretty much the exact same wrong place. Almost 200 kilometers off of the right location. No idea how they managed that, but it's coincidence, I guess. And yeah, I think that was everyone. Yep.
Now, this round was really tricky for about half the field. Like you mentioned, you and Max didn't quite find the town, but there were quite a few drivers who went the wrong way. If you go straight north, it's 4 or 5 minutes of nothing, other than I think you might have been able to get the road number.
Yeah, pretty sure you would have been able to.
Yeah, but that was it. And so no town names, no distances, no anything for their whole time limit. So quite a few drivers got less than 1,000 points. 1 or 2 even timing out, and really just kind of maybe losing it a bit, and with the pressure of not knowing where they were at the last second. So a bit of a rough round for people. But if you manage to get that, puts you in a very good, strong position to get some points in the opening week, as we will jump to round 4 with Mr. Blue to see how things go for him here. And if there was mountains in the last round, these are definitely some pretty good mountains in this one. The greenest it's definitely been.
Yeah, for sure.
So far.
This is kind of like, I've got a few favorite areas of Argentina. One is kind of the very far south, but this is sort of a second favorite. Which again, relatively close to that Road 40, but just a bit more in the mountainous area and a bit more greenery around.
Yeah, just tucked more into the Andes a bit, but still dirt roads.
Yep. Argentina's not the richest country.
No, and it's quite large too. Like even if it was wealthy and had some money, like that's a lot of roads to cover.
Yep.
North to south wise, and that's gonna give him some pretty good clues. Of course, Santo Domingo is not the most rare of names in a Spanish speaking country, but it is something. Mas Sursa. What is Sursa?
I have no idea.
Mas is more, right? So
I don't speak Spanish.
Maybe it is Moss, but maybe the spelling is different. Not sure.
It could be. I think there was some good information on that sign. I don't know if Mr. Blue saw it or ignored it. Because I think it did say municipio. There's something.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Bolivia, Corral, Vega, Maipu.
Yep.
So that'll help. And there's a nice city bus.
I actually find... I actually find this round really interesting because I didn't really move much. Oh, there we go. There's the municipality, San Martin de los Andes.
This.
So I never saw this part of town, and it looks quite different from the part of town that I saw.
Yeah, I think I went the other way. Too. I definitely didn't travel this direction.
Mm.
For things.
There's the municipality on the map.
Yeah, municipality on the map. He's found it. Just scanning near the Andes. Not too bad. Wants to see if this sign will give him anything as well.
He could probably look for that Vega something. There we go, Vega Maipo. It's on his map.
Yeah, there we go. That'll help him out. That's where he is at least sort of now. Work your way back to the streets.
Yep, that's the road he traveled down, and that's this town he started in. And quite unusually, we've actually got street names here.
That's what I was about to say. Like, we've actually got some road names for him to look at. And with still 2 minutes left to go, he is going to take a look at those road names, see if he can't find them, to make sure that it is, in fact, where he is.
There we go.
There we go. And how about that? It all comes together sometimes. Not too long at all, and an ace only 8 meters away. Looks like quite a few people got an ace as well in this one, Calamity.
Yep. It was quite difficult, actually, if you didn't walk the same way as Mr. Blue, to figure out where exactly in that region you are. Not too difficult to figure out San Martin de los Andes. I think there were a couple of things that pointed to that. But we were outside the town by a couple of kilometers. So quite a lot of people who got reasonably close but didn't actually get an ace. For us, though, Carp got an ace as well. So did I. And Max, as well as Closed, were both in not quite the main city of San Martin de los Andes, but a lot closer to that than the town we spawned in. And both dropped about 100 points each.
Yeah, it was a bit tricky. I found myself, when time expired, one town over. So actually in San Martin de los Andes, I didn't track back far enough for where we actually started out at. But I didn't realize I traveled that far, and I would have seen a sign for something so far away from where we started, and so it kind of threw things off a bit for me there, but still did pretty decently, because that sign was pretty clever and helped everybody out. Okay, well, let's move on to our final round to see how everybody finishes up here, and we've got Max FI to finish in this round, and we finally get an urban, well, decently sized urban location. We've been in a few small villages.
Yeah, finally a city.
And that means we get some road names. So.
The question is, do we also get some city name?
Yeah, I was about to say, this could be the one where we know the local area really well. We have no idea where we are in terms of the country. In some of the other rounds, we've had, the road and the city name very close, but we didn't exactly know the exact location we started at.
Yeah, and Argentina can be tricky with giving out city names, but that already looks like a decent sign, but maybe not quite. But
Max didn't seem happy with it.
Yeah, but with 5 minutes, usually he'll find it eventually, even if he has to traverse the whole city to get to it.
Oh, don't get off of the boulevard. Here we go. City buses are always nice if you can spot a sign. There we go. Concepción de Uruguay. There we go. Right on the Uruguayan border.
Sort of in the name there.
Yep. Yeah, so like when I was doing this round, I just saw Uruguay everywhere. I even saw like Uruguayan, I guess because the Uruguayan colors are very similar to Argentina, right? The white and blue and yellow and stuff. So it was like, wait a minute, these are all the right colors, but there's two countries and I see Uruguay everywhere. But it's Argentina map, so just start searching the border until you find the town name.
Yeah, it's a pretty big city as well, so it stands out relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And the Argentina-Uruguay border isn't exactly long.
Yeah, not too bad. So now those road names come in very handy. The main boulevard also quite easy to locate.
Mm,
And where is this? He seems to think that this should be it, but he hasn't been able to. This is the road.
yeah, it is.
He kind of went the wrong way a bit at the start.
Just 2 further.
There's it.
There
Oh, it was right there.
Yep.
Okay, he'll get there eventually, but he wanted to jump back to the starting location first. Like the minute he kind of focused in on it on the map, he went back to the start, and I was like, but it's right there. So, what is going on inside the minds of these players is always what we want to know, right? If we do our best to guess, we're never quite sure.
Probably.
It's always fun to see
Probably wrong more often than right, but we try.
Yeah, we try. It is always fun to see them in the comments when they let us know exactly what was happening. To see how well we did.
He's spending a lot of time making sure where he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the time. You might as well do it. Tiebreaker is by distance, I believe, with bonus points for the fastest perfect score. So he's already off of a perfect game, so there's no reason to hurry. Instead, there is a great deal of effort to put into being accurate, and that does him quite good. He'll get an ace there with only 8 meters away for the last one, Calamity. But again, probably maybe the easiest round of the match in round 5.
Definitely the easiest round. I quite like his path tracker. Just an L. There's a lot of perfect scores in that round. Closed actually managed to drop 1 point, but everyone else got a perfect score. And even out of the people that we didn't show, I don't think there was anyone. No one didn't find the right city, at least.
Yeah, even I got an ace in that one. Town name and everything really helpful, as well as those street names for that. Well, that does it for our first week of Formula G. We are really happy to be back with this format. It's one of my favorites, and that's why we cast it. If you want to know how everybody did, as well as how the points shook out for both the driver and the team competitions, you can check out the review show that was actually up quite a while ago. So go back, rewatch that to see how things shaped up after week 1. And we'll see you all in week 2 in France, I believe, is our second week for that one. So take care.
Bye.